Okay, good afternoon. I'm Mark from ASAFE. We're probably best known as the manufacturers and world leaders in polymer barrier construction. We invented this, and it's the mainstay of our business at the moment. That provides protection, but what I'm here today to talk about is rack-eye. Rack-eye is the next development, the next innovation from ASAFE, and this is something that sits on your rack leg, and it monitors any impacts that your rack leg is having. So that's every single impact that goes on. It will record that impact. It sends that information back through a gateway to some secure servers. It's stored there, and if you get an impact that is big enough that it's likely to cause damage, it sends you an impact alert. So that will be like, if I do that, it also flashes red at that time. Now when you get that impact alert, it sends an SMS or an email, or both if you like, to as many people as you want to notify. They can act upon that immediately, and it's controlled by an app. So it tells them exactly where to go in the warehouse, sends them to that environment, and they go along with their smartphone, open the app, and the first thing they do is scan the device. Now that's telling me it's detected an impact, and it then takes you through a series of questions. So it's going to ask you, is there any damage to the upright? If there isn't any, you can say no, and it'll reset. However, if you do have damage, scan again, and this time we'll say yes, it's bent, and it prompts you to start a rack inspection. So we're looking at the deflection, the frontward deflection. Click on there, sidewards deflection, and this can be set to imperial measurements or to metric. I've set it to imperial because I'm old. We save those measurements. It's now going to ask you about the base plate. Is there any damage to that? Let's say yes, there's a slight twist in the base plate. Any damage to the bracing? We'll say yes, it's slightly loose. And the floor fixings, again, they've come loose. It's going to look at the beams. We'll say there's no damage to the beams. So now that's prompted you to do an inspection on the rack leg itself. It's now going to ask you some questions about the environment surrounding that. So look at the load notice. Is it in position? Yes, it's visible. And no, it's not damaged. We're looking at the guarding. Let's say that's also come loose. We're looking at the goods themselves, see how they're stored. Any pallet damage? No, but it's poorly positioned. Then looking at the general housekeeping around the area. Is the poor storage? No. Bit of damage to the shrink wrap? Yes. It asks you about lighting, because that could be an issue in the area. You may have had an impact because somebody can't see properly what they're doing. So in this case, we'll say there's no damage to the lighting, and there are no trip hazards. So it's asked you all these questions, and the final part is to take a photograph of the incident. You can also take a video if a photograph isn't sufficient. I'll just take a photograph here. If you're happy with that, accept the photograph, and then all that data is submitted and sent off to be assessed against SEMA standards. And the result that you get is based on the traffic light system that SEMA have in place. So you can either get a green saying it's okay to use, but we would still adjust the sensitivity simply because we know it's had an impact. Or in this case, we've got an amber result. So that asks us to add this to a random checklist. It says we're now going to adjust the sensitivity by 2/3, and we're going to actually add it to a more frequent checklist, and then it's going to set a timer, and on that timer it gives you 4 weeks. You have to react within 4 weeks under SEMA standards on an amber alert, and it reminds you through an SMS and or email to complete that action. If you get a red alert, It's going to also give you the option then to send extra alerts out to, if you want to escalate that to senior management. If you want to also look at that information online, we have a dashboard, so you can see the activity on every leg. And remember, I said at the beginning, it's gathering information of every little impact. So even if you haven't had an alert, we're getting the information to know that there's some activity going on in a particular area. That means that you can analyse that data and you can plan in safety into your warehouse. You can look at that, you can say, I've got a hot spot here. Do I need to look at the way we are moving around there? Have we got the wrong size trucks in? Do we need to relay out that area of the warehouse? It might tell you you've got a particular issue on one shift. So you can address that. What's that shift doing that the other shifts are not doing? So we protect with our barriers. We have rack-eye that is a visual deterrent, and it actually, what we're finding in the trials that we have out there is that it actually improves driver behaviour just by the fact of that being on the leg. So it's a deterrent, it's detecting everything, you're gathering that information so that you can utilise it later to plan in safety and improve the safety of the environment. The next development that's coming with the app is that you will be able to put your SEMA data in through the app and overlay that with the 24/7 information that rack-eye is gathering. So we're protecting, we're detecting, and we're helping prevent catastrophic rack collapse by allowing you to plan your environment and plan your changes to your warehouse more effectively. Some of the people that I speak to when I ask about how you replace racking in the environment, they do it on a cyclic basis. What this will allow you to do by looking at the data, even if you haven't had a serious impact, you can look at that data and look in an area and say, there's a lot of activity in this particular area, so actually that's the part that we should be replacing first. So you're not unnecessarily replacing your assets. So that's rack-eye. We've had a lot of interest in that today. I want to thank everybody that's shown some interest, come along and spoke to us. If you want to know more, we'll be here until close of the exhibition, and you can always contact us through the website. Thank you.